I'm going to call this meeting to order.
Recording in progress.
Roll call. Board Member Luis Gonzalez.
Present.
Board Member Greg Taylor.
Here.
Board Member Maria Garcia.
Present.
Board Member Dr. Wade McLean.
Here.
All of us are present today. Will you please stand and join me to say the Pledge of Allegiance. We want to acknowledge that Pima Community College is on the original homelands of the Tohono-O'odham people and the Pasco Yaqui, who have stewarded this land since time immemorial. The practice of acknowledging the land of these sovereign nations bring to the forefront their enduring connection to this land, regardless of historical and current colonization practices. Let's also acknowledge that we all benefit from these lands in which we work and learn. We encourage each of you today to learn about the land we inhabit, the tribal communities connected to this land, and the ways in which you can contribute to restorative practices related to land and community. Thank you. We are going to move the agenda around a little bit. Normally we do call the audience right now, but we have honored guests here that we are recognizing for awards. And so we are going to move to the Governing Board recognition and awards, and Jeff Teese is going to be the Master of Ceremonies. Jeff, I apologize. I should have mentioned to you that we were moving you up. Sorry about that. Thank you for being accommodating. Thank you.
You got it taped down now. All right, I'd like to welcome our honored guests and their families to our semi-annual Pima Community College Governing Board's recognition ceremony. The college encourages its employees and students to pursue civic and professional activities, and we are all pleased when they are honored by those organizations with which they are affiliated. Honorees, you are being recognized this evening because you received an honor or award from a local, state, regional, national, or international organization. Each of you received your recognition over this past year. Community members so honored at these celebrations are either an alumnus of the college or have created a significant relationship or partnership with the college. I was going to invite the board to come down, but I can see they beat me to it. Always ahead, being proactive, that's what we like. Colleagues and guests, we will introduce this year's honorees by groups. First, we'll do all of our students, and then we will do our employees. We will announce their achievements as we call their names. Please hold your applause until all members of each group have received their certificates. Honorees that are unable to be with us this evening will be mailed their certificates. Honorees, as your name is read, please come forward to receive your certificate of recognition and stand to the side until the entire group has received their awards. Once your group photograph has been taken with the board, we ask that you return to your seats until all of our honorees have been recognized. Our first group to be recognized are the PCC students who have received special awards and recognitions. We will call the students' names in groups so that we can frame their photograph with the board according to the type of award or honor they have received. So this first group, there's going to be 5 students called. If you could please hold your applause until all 5 have been called. First up, Kira Okuma. Kira was selected as a 2024 All-USA Academic Team and for placing on the first team of the 2024 All-Arizona Academic Team for the district office. Teresa Billick. She was selected as a 2024 Coca-Cola Academic Team Gold Scholar and for placing on the first team of the 2024 All-Arizona Academic Team for the East Campus. Kira and Teresa, if you're here, you can start walking this way. If not, we'll be sending your award in the mail. Next up is Daniel Schessler. selected as a 2024 Coca-Cola Academic Team Gold Scholar, and for placing on the first team of the 2024 All-Arizona Academic Team for the West Campus. Matthew Arcarisi. Matthew here. I'm going to correct my last name pronunciation. All right. Selected as a 2024 Coca-Cola Academic Team Silver Scholar, and for placing on the first team of the 2024 All-Arizona Academic Team for the East Campus. And last in this group is Oscar Anderson, who was selected as a 2024 Coca-Cola Academic Team Silver Scholar. Group 5, or the first group, 0 for 5? Let's give them a round of applause if we were watching this one. I know we have one for sure in this next group, so we don't have to break for photo. On to the next. Emma Brack, placed on the first team of the 2024 All-Arizona Academic Team for the Desert Vista campus. Khalil Gatto, placed on the second team of the 2024 All-Arizona Academic Team for the downtown campus. Nicole Gil Lopez, placed on the second team of the 2024 All-Arizona Academic Team for the Northwest campus. Nicholas Davis, selected as a 2023, so hold your applause. I know we were supposed to hold our applause, but I appreciate it. Let me tell you what Nicholas did. He's selected as the 2023 Obendorf Lifeline to Completion Scholar from Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. Magda Minerva Torres. Following directions is tough. Magda was selected as the keynote student speaker at the Arizona Adult Education Institute, also selected to join the PCC delegation to attend the American Association of Community College Trustees. Arnold Montiel, selected to help raise awareness about Pima and adult education with Sierra Tucson at the state capitol. Let's give a great hand for those three. Yep, picture time. If you all want to come down and get a little closer to take that picture, go ahead. Thank you. All right, this next group of 7 were inducted into the National Adult Education Honor Society. Daniela Shelby, Zurazadeh Brown, Amber Crystal Owens, Eva L. Haro de Vasquez, Lucky Cruzita Munoz, Misty Zur, and Rita Chavez, all inducted into the National Adult Education Honor Society. Any of those students with us tonight? We're in groups of 7, so we're going to do that group, and then they're probably in the next group. So 0 for 7 on that group, but let's give them a round of applause. All right, our next group of 7, also inducted into the National Adult Education Honor Society. Abdul Aziz Wasu, Casey Eminger, Mirdad Malikzada, Liliana Lopez Ballesteros. Juan Mendoza. Roberto Antonio Curiel. Halina Makatrenko. Round of applause for this group.
Come on here closer so you can get a picture. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. And our final group of recipients are college employees who have received honors and awards outside of PCC. Mayra Rodriguez, selected as a Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities Inlace Leadership Program Fellow. Valerie Vidal King, selected as a Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities Inlace Leadership Program Fellow. Chris Rodriguez, selected as a National Community College Hispanic Council Leadership Fellow. Jennifer Madrid, selected as a grant recipient from the Center for First Generation Student Success and NASPA Student Affairs Administrators in Higher Education, First Generation College Celebration Grant. Dr. Suzanne Desjardins, recipient of the Dr. Alfredo de los Santos Jr. Community College Award. Dr. Vanessa Ariano, selected as one of the honorees for the annual Tucson Hispanic Chamber of Commerce 2023 40 Under 40. Commander Ricardo Gutierrez completed a 10-week certification in police staff and command from Northwestern University Center for Public Safety. Officer Barry Marovitz, honored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving at Pima College's Officer of the Year for his efforts in DUI detection and enforcement. Lori Kirstead Joseph, selected by the Coalition on Adult Basic Education for the Outstanding Administrator Award. And Jenny Seltenwright completed the 8-month Southern Arizona Workforce Leadership Academy. Let's give that group a hand. Squeeze. Maybe go sideways.
Wait, one more. Okay, good. Let's give all of our honorees another round of applause. Isn't this amazing? The college is so proud of our students and our employees and community members' achievements, and this is what Pima College is really about. And I'd like to also thank and the support that family and friends have given to these individuals as well. So let's give them a round of applause as well. Thank you for joining us tonight.
We are going to do section 1.8 for the Pima Mission Moment PCC Child Care Program. Julie Mendeville is the program manager at the Desert Vista campus. And are you introducing it all? Okay, sorry. Edgar is introducing her. Edgar Soto from Desert Vista.
All right, Chairperson Real, members of the board, Chancellor Dolores Duran Seran. I always get that mixed up. Colleagues and guests, welcome, good evening. I'm here to just kind of highlight our child care program and talk a little bit about it, but just to let you know on the front end, I was very new to that when I got to the campus and realized how important this is. There's an economist named James Heckman who was a Nobel Prize winner and talks about every dollar you invest in child care, there's a $4 to $16 return. So I'm no economist, but that sounds pretty good. So we're really proud of this program and proud of Julie Mendeville, our program manager. And I'm just going to share a little bit about Julie. Julie graduated from the U of A with a bachelor's in child development and family studies. She started at Pima Community College February of 2022 as a program manager for our C Campus grant. Came from the Department of Services as a supervisor of child care licensure for 25 years. And then she was also worked for Child Protective Services for 3 years and in the child care field working of special needs children. So she's done an amazing job leading this grant. But her most valuable thing I tell her that she's done, she also played basketball for the University of Arizona from 1987 to 1990. I think one of the best things we can do as leaders sometimes is stay out of people's way, and that's what I've tried to do with Julia, stay out of her way, and then I don't want her to dunk on me or anything. So I've stayed out of her way. She's done an amazing job. She's going to say a few words and then introduce her students. Thank you.
Thanks, Edgar. I got to go a little higher. Good evening, Chair Riel, members of the board, Chancellor Duran Cerda, and colleagues and guests. I thank you for the opportunity to share about our program, the C Campus program, during this mission moment. The C Campus program, I got to take these off. The C Campus program stands for Child Care Access Means Parents in School. Currently, our program opened in October 22nd has served 46 of our Pima College students, and of those 46 college students, we have served 54 of their children. These children range in ages from infant to school age and are placed in high-quality child care programs. And what we anticipate is that many of those 54 children will be future Pima College graduates. The program helps students remove the barrier of high cost of child care so that they can continue attending college by offering them full-time child care slots at no cost. At the Desert Vista campus, we have the DV Early Learning Center, which is for ages 3 to 5-year-olds. With a capacity of 20 children, as of this month, we are currently completely full, and we have a wait list. And all of those slots were taken by Pima students. Opening hopefully later this month will be on the Desert Vista campus. We will have an early Head Start program that will serve ages 1 and 2-year-olds. This will have 2 small classrooms of 8 children. One room is already almost full with our Pima students, and we haven't even started advertising yet. Both programs at Desert Vista are operated by Child Parent Centers, who oversees all of the Head Start programs in Southern Arizona. The program also has an agreement with 17 child care locations in Tucson, where I can help accommodate students where Desert Vista is not a convenient location while they are attending classes at other campuses. Today, I have asked a student to share their experience at Pima Community College and having their child in our Desert Vista Early Learning Program. I would like to introduce Ivan Luzania. He will be graduating this May with an associate degree in science and continuing at the University of Arizona to study biochemistry. He and his girlfriend Brianna, who's also here, are both students at Pima College, and both will be graduating in May. They have their daughter Isabel in our preschool program, and I would like to invite Ivan to share what this program has done for him and his family.
Hello. Thank you for having me. My name is Ivan Lucania. I'm not your typical student, a college student. I'm 28 years old. I have 2 daughters, a little older, you know. Growing up, you know, I was a teen parent. At 19 was when my daughter was first born. And so college kind of was a back thought for me. I instantly went into the workforce and tried to support my family. It wasn't until I had my second daughter, Isabel, who I kind of started to realize that, these dead-end jobs just weren't going to cut it anymore. And I really had more aspirations and more dreams for myself and for my family. And when I decided to make that decision to enroll into Pima Community College, we didn't really know how we were going to go about it. But once we got in, I learned about C Campus, what a great program that's been. We were able to get Isabel into this, Desert Vista Early Learning Center, and her developments from when she first started to now has been, it's evident. It's very, you can see it. And so it's a great program. I feel like, with the situation that I'm in with my kids, it's kind of like an outlier, but for the most part, I believe most C Campus students are, mothers. And so I started to do a little bit of research, and I saw that, a lot of teen mothers don't seem to get college degrees. In fact, I believe from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, they said that in 2019, only 2% of teen mothers get a college degree before the age of 30. And that's just, a really bad statistic. But C Campus is on the forefront of trying to help these, people, progress. And I think, it's beneficial for everyone when we have more, the degree holding citizens in our community. It's definitely a benefit for everyone. And so just with that being said, I feel like this program is great. I hope you guys continue to fund it. And personally, I feel you should maybe expand it a little bit more so we can reach out to a few more people that might need the help. Anyways, I don't want to take more time. Thank you.
Any questions from the board? What are our plans to expand these programs to maybe one or more campuses? Is there any discussion on that?
So I know Child Parent Centers, who currently runs the Head Start programs, has interest in possibly having another program, an early Head Start or a preschool program at other campuses, and we have started that process to reach out for interest.
Great, thank you. That sounds wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you all. Okay, now we are going to jump to the action items 5.1 and 5.2. What we're doing is we are going to have call to the audience after we hear the presentation from the committee on the Drockman properties. Then we are going to hold the call to the audience, so people who are speaking about the Drockman properties will have an opportunity to speak there at that time. Michaela, I know that you signed up to speak about college business. Would you like to speak right now, or do you mind waiting to that point? Okay, thank you. Okay, so we are going to move to the action items, section 5.1. I would like to make a motion to move that the two board members currently on the Chancellor Selection Committee, myself and Vice Chair Dr. Wade McLean, that we change our capacity in that committee just to be a sitting member but a non-voting member. So is there a second to my motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to the next item, 5.2. This is the Drockman properties. And Nina Corson's going to come up and talk and I think introduce the members of our committee that are here so we can recognize them for the excellent work they did on the committee. Are you okay with that?
Oh, yeah. Would you like me to introduce them first?
Yes,
I do
thank
have
you.
a presentation. Is somebody going to bring that up, or do I need to do it? Sorry, I don't know which one. Sure, I will just kind of jump around in my slides. I'll say that again for a second. I'll just jump around in my slides a little bit. Julie made this way too high for me. Okay. How do we do this? Let's jump down to the work group members. I do have a number of them with us tonight. These individuals have been very generous with their time over the last 6 months. And they've all joined this work group because of their interest and dedication to the Drachman corridor. They each have interest either because of the historic nature of the area, because of the Thrive in the 05 initiatives, or in some cases, we have 2 individuals with us tonight who live just a block or 2 away from the campus. So let me introduce you to a couple of them before we get, well, I'll introduce you to everybody that's here that I know that's here. We have Christina Schultz, who is lives right across the street from the campus. We have Michael Edmonds, who lives down in the Tucson house, and you're going to hear from those 2 later. They really contributed a lot to the proposal that you will see tonight. They are the heart of that work, and they created that work. We also have Ken Scoville. I think I saw Ken. Ken participated in the committee, educated us on the benefits of adaptive reuse. He arranged tours for us of other historic properties that have been adaptively reused. I think we have Allison Miller from the city. I believe I saw her. Allison Miller represented Thrive in the 05. Are there any of our other city reps here? Oh, Barbara, I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Barbara also works with the city and was quite helpful in some of the, like the land lease option that we'll talk about later tonight, and the RFQ process, et cetera. We have Marlene Avellino. She represented Ward 4. Ward 3, thank you. I'm stuck on East Campus. I was right next to Ward 4. So Ward 3, she kept us on time. She was the heart of our committee, and I have to give her credit because of some comments that she made one night. It really helped open the door to the committee to have some difficult conversations with each other. So I really credit her for that work. Jessica Bassi from the University of Arizona is the one who educated us in depth on what a land lease option is and shared with us some of the times where the University of Arizona has done such a process. So she's here if you have questions about that. I don't think Allison or Dre are with us. Marcy Euler from the foundation was here. I know you already know her. We have Astor Schaefer, who was a student rep on this work group. Astor is also the downtown campus student senator. He is a busy young man, and I appreciate him being here tonight. We have Dennis Just, one of our faculty members. He teaches astronomy. He's with us here tonight. And Jeff Sylvan and myself. So that's your work group. All right, so.
Nina, could I just interrupt real quick?
Yeah.
We want to thank you all for your time and dedication to help the board make this pretty important decision. We don't enter this lightly, and we really value your knowledge, your experience, the time that you put in this activity of bringing forth these propositions to the board. Nina said, and I don't mean to talk for you, but she said this was a great experience, that the people she worked with were amazing. So I just really want to thank you all for everything that you've done to help us along with this decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. So before we get started, I just want to remind the board and remind everybody that is here with us tonight what our work group's charge actually was. So several months back, the board provided a directive to our chancellor to form this external work group made up of community members and some college employees as well, to provide some proposals to the board. You asked us to look at specific uses of the existing buildings if adaptive reuse is to be done. What could we use those buildings for that would benefit the students and the community? Then you also asked us if we wanted to go that route, what external funding could we find to help develop those properties? You also asked us to look at what we would do with that land if we do not preserve the buildings. And in addition to that, if there is any external funding that can be utilized to help the college develop that land. So those are the 4 things that you asked us to do. And I'm pleased tonight to be able to share with you the proposal that the work group came up with. I am not going to present that to you myself. The work group members are going to do that. I will tell you that the proposal that we put forth to you was voted on at our very last work group meeting last month, and there were no negative votes. There was nobody that voted no to it. So I think that is pretty significant. So what is next? We did that, and I think Robin is next. So I want to introduce you to Robin Schambach. I did not introduce her because though she was not technically a member of our work group, she did facilitate every meeting for us. And so I'm going to let her talk next to give you an overview of what we did over the last 6 months and the approach that we took. After we are done with our full presentation, we are hoping that you will vote to ask the college to move forward with the RFQ process. And we will be here to answer any questions you have. Okay, Robin, you ready?
I am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nina, and thank you for having me here tonight. It was an honor and a pleasure to work with this group of volunteers who care so much about the mission of Pima Community College. So my task tonight is just to remind you briefly where the properties are along Drockman, and they're highlighted in the blue. It's all 3 of the former hotel sites. I also wanted to, can I just enter and that advances this? Down arrow, beautiful. Great. I want to give you an overview of the activities that this work group did over a period of about 6 months, from the time that they were asked to participate until the time we got here tonight. And we had an outline of what we thought maybe the structure of the work group sessions would be. But in our very first session, we had a general conversation about making sure that the group understood the board directive and talked a little bit about what that meant. And in more detail. And in that, in that first meeting, we also had a brainstorming of what kinds of uses these work group participants, who represent a wide range of interests, thought might be useful and meet that goal of serving the mission of Pima College students. And what we realized in that conversation is that we wanted the work group to take ownership of the trajectory of how the meetings would fall one another based on the information that they felt necessary to do their work, and then the sort of the life that this process took to bring us here today. So the second meeting, at that meeting, as we talked about uses, then the work group realized that they needed to know a little bit more of the big picture of what Pima Community Colleges offers across our community. And so Nina and others put together a wonderful presentation that it gave an overview of not just downtown campus, but what services are provided over all of the sites across the community, and what different services are planned in the master plan for centers of excellence and other services that need to be provided to meet the mission and may be provided at other locations. That was very helpful to give us the work group some opportunity to think about appropriate uses on this site. We also toured the buildings. That was our next meeting. A good number of the work group were able to attend the tours. We got to walk around all 3 properties and through certain select areas that were made safe for the group to visit, so we could get a sense of what those spaces are actually like and the condition that they're in as of today. We were also, through the organization of Ken Scoville, and thank him for doing this, able to also tour some examples of adaptive reuse in the neighboring area. The Ghost Ranch Lodge, which is used for senior housing, in Monterey Court, which is a fun retail entertainment venue. So that was also very educational. At the next meeting, we really honed in on what potential funding sources there might be. And we talked through a range of grant opportunities with a focus on the Thrive in the 05 grants and what those grants might support that would overlap in a fancy Venn diagram with what services might also be appropriate on those sites. And some of those were highlighted in the presentation you'll see tonight. And then we also had a more detailed presentation on the land lease development options and a conversation about some sample RFQ opportunities to engage potential private partnership development in assisting the college to get to its eventual goals. And that was really helpful. What we realized in that conversation is that of the giant fat document that makes up an RFI, which is a request for interest, or a RFQ, request for qualifications, there's a very important 1 or 2 page piece that includes the design parameters. And work subgroups were then volunteered to spend time together separately from the major group to develop and hone in on what those design parameters should include to meet the interests of the surrounding neighborhood, but more importantly, the board mission, what would serve the college. And so that's the heart of the presentation tonight. In February, those subgroups met to work on those, and then those were presented back at the end of February, where the group reviewed a draft. There was an open conversation about what was included in that draft document. Edits were made, and at the March 14th meeting, we did a final review of that document, and then that is when the group voted and approved what is going to be presented tonight. Great, thank you. So I think next are Christina and Mike from the work group to present the draft.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Nina. And thank you, Board of Governors, for supporting this, the Drackman Properties Advisory Committee. My name is Christina Scholes, and I am the Neighborhood Association President for the Bronx Park neighborhood, home to PCC's downtown campus and the Drackman Motels. I'm here today to represent the group's work and thoughts around these design priorities that we're recommending for this request for qualifications. The work group and my neighbors are united in our desire to make this area a hive of education and economic activity. Back in May of 2023, when we had a similar meeting like this, I remember sending you all, the board, on behalf of my neighborhood, an email urging you to consider what the Drackman properties could be, focusing on reuse and revitalization over demolition and more parking. I'm happy to have been part of this solution by drafting these priorities as the logical next step in identifying a qualified developer who can help make the desired reuse and revitalization happen for all who study, own businesses, work, and live in the area. This aligns with the neighborhood's goal of making our corner of Tucson a humane space to thrive in. As part of the recommended request for qualifications, the work group hopes to attract a developer who can envision a mixed-use development plan for the Drackman properties. This project should honor our history by preserving, at a minimum, the iconic signs and recognizing the original facades of the motel. We want a design that complements our neighborhood and the PCC campus in terms of size and purpose. We also hope to see proposals and qualifications that prioritize accessibility, mobility, and sustainability. In thinking about these aspects, I like to think about what the area will look like for my daughter in another 10 years. Right now, she's 3, and she knows the area for the Tucson Inn sign and the high fences. With these priorities, the work group is envisioning a project whereby the properties activate the opportunities of the area, a place that's connected to public transportation and bike routes, with plenty of space to establish native shade trees and create a purposeful place for people to gather. The Drackman area can be seen as a symbol of Tucson as a city, our evolution, from the days of motor tourism to now being home to some of the city's most advanced learning labs. As we look into the future, the work group is excited about the potential of these properties to continue serving our community for learners, residents, and local business owners alike. These priorities, as you can see here, are open and flexible on purpose. Given today's economic and real estate realities, the work group wants to set PCC up for success in attracting an ideal development partner who can bring a great design to life in a timely manner. Thank you for your time. I'd like to turn it over now to my associate work group member, Mike Edmonds.
Thank you to my neighbor. My name is Mike Edmonds, and I'm a resident of Tucson House. Been there for 5 years so far. I'm also involved in the Thrive in E05 initiative. I'm an ambassador. I go around and talk to people about it, and bring back information, and try to get the neighborhood and the areas to understand the possibilities and opportunities that are coming and that I see and that could be. In addition to that, I'm also involved in high-capacity transit, the Tucson Norte Sur line that's going to run potentially from Tucson Mall all the way out to the airport, and then the sub-route, which has been chosen, which is going to run past Pima Community College, Tucson Rapid Transit. That's Tucson Mall to downtown. So first of all, thank you all for allowing me and us to be on the Drachman Properties Advisory Committee. I am, and we are, speaking for our community. We live in this area, and we know what our needs and desires are. Don't have all to say everything I'd like to. I would love to sit down with you and have some coffee and chat and you know, we just talk about some things, but I'm going to try to summarize pretty much everything here that we've been talking about for months. So here are some of the, I'm sorry, let me flip the, I'm not PowerPoint. Yeah, I am not PowerPoint proficient. I'm sorry. Hard copy. Is that the, I hit the down, she's going to set this up. Thank you. And I work for Microsoft. So here are some of the use priorities. I assume you all have copies of the presentation. It's not good. Okay. So here are some of the use priorities that the work group identified. These uses stem from previous studies that the college has done, as well as considering some of the Thrive in E05 initiatives the city hopes to implement. And again, these uses hope to inspire qualified developers to conceptualize a development that supports both the college and neighbors alike, and create a space that is usable by all. We don't have time to really go through all of them. I'm going to be selfish and choose 3, if you will, just to chat about it a little bit. One is the Community Hub Center. I talk to people a lot in the area, and the best way I can describe the benefit of a Community Hub Center is they don't have anywhere to go at all. So that's why a Community Hub Center, with all of the services and just spaces and possibilities, is a good idea as to be used in this area. The second one is the PCC downtown campus uses. Because I know, and I had to kind of learn this, I know you all want a return on investment on your properties. I get it. It took me a while because it was all about me, but it's us. I get it. So Innovation Center, I will highlight the technology, education and technology portion of this, because I've been involved a lot lately, for months, in digital equity and digital inclusion. And that is a problem in the area. It is a serious problem. And anything that you might be interested in doing related to technology in that area would be a blessing for those who live in the Thrive area. They need experience, they need access, they need support, there are a lot of needs there, a lot of needs. And if anything, maybe the ACP Affordable Connectivity Program, that being taken away, might be helpful to understand what's lacking. And the third, and I'm going to call out somebody on this one. The third one I want to highlight, because we've had some conversations about it, and we've had a meeting away from our work group about it, and I learned a lot more, is the Community Food Hub and Accelerator. And I learned a lot about this from Allison Miller. I'm going to ask that if you become more interested in this topic, please sit down with Allison Miller and talk to her about it, because she's got a whole lot of knowledge about this subject. We live in a food desert. We do. People, the closest grocery store I can think of off the top of my head is Fry's. Outside of that, people have to go all the way down to Oracle to get to Target, or maybe even all the way down to Walmart. So we don't have, a grocery store or where people can get fresh vegetables, fresh fruit consistently in that area. There's food assistance, food businesses, culinary training programs. And again, you see the rest of the ideas we had for the area. And if we can have conversations about this later, let's. Would love to sit down, and I'm sure we would just love to sit down and just chat with you about this. Who's next? Jeff? Jeff, do you want me to try to move it to the next slide? You want to just a down arrow, she said. That's what I did last night. See? Sorry, Jeff. You're on your own, buddy. Thank you.
All right, so along with trying to figure out what some possible uses might look like that would benefit the college and the community, the other thing that the advisory group focused on was the board interest in, well, how could we fund development of this property with no college funds or with a minimal college investment, but primarily private dollars. And so the real focus was on, well, how could we attract funds from outside of Pima College that would fund the development of these properties. And so the conversation of the work group turned to that the best alternative to do that was some type of public-private partnership. So let me explain just briefly kind of what that concept would look like and then how we would go about trying to find out some more specific proposals, approaches to do that. So the idea in a public-private partnership is Pima College would continue to keep ownership of the land. So we're talking it's about 3 acres, give or take, across the 3 different motel properties. There would be a long-term lease of the land to a private developer, or it could be more than one, depending on what the size of the projects would be. And that developer would arrange financing to pay for the construction of the building or buildings. They would perhaps lease part of it back to Pima, right? We don't know what it would look like yet, but there might be sections of it that Pima would want to use. And then there would be sections that the private developer would lease out for other uses in order to make a return on their investment, right? So they would provide the initial capital to support the project, and then they have to have a way to make that money back, presumably with some level of return on investment, so that it would be an attractive project for the college. There are models of this with the University of Arizona, with ASU. So what the other thing the group did is looked around and saw that there were other higher education institutions and other public entities, that have done similar projects. So as a way to use private capital to fund construction. And then the idea would be the developer pays for the buildings, they own the buildings, there would be a long-term lease, could be 30 years or maybe even more, depends on what the return on investment is and the projected lifespan of the buildings. At the end of the time, Pima would own the buildings. So it's a way for the college to ultimately obtain a productive asset of considerable value. Okay, so that sounds good, but how do we get there? So what we talked about in the committee, and I know Nina and I came and spoke to you at a study session a while ago, and we talked about something called an RFI. And in further conversations with the committee and doing some of our research, we decided there was a slightly better approach, probably an RFQ. That's a request for qualification. So let me explain what that would look like. So essentially, we would assemble a document, and it's already mostly assembled, assuming the board chooses to go this direction. There's some additional work to do, but a lot of it's ready. Think of it as an investment prospectus. So what it does is it explains, here's the investment opportunity, right? Here's where the property is, here's what's on it now, here's all the other investment and interesting activity going on in the area, right? Because the city of Tucson has received a significant HUD grant that's going to be used to build some exciting new projects in the area. As Michael mentioned, there's a new transportation corridor that's going in. So this document would put all that together and provide links to that so a developer interested person could see, oh, here's other things going on that are interesting, showing that there's significant development that would also complement what they're doing. And wrapped in that document is the work of the committee, which is here's our thoughts on what parameters a proposal should look like. This is the kind of the ways we think you could effectively address the development opportunity. The primary focus of this part of the process, multi-phase process, the primary focus of this would be to have interested developers submit documentation that would show that they are qualified to do this in a couple of respects. One, they're qualified to do it because they would show examples of projects they've done that would have similar components in it to show that, yeah, we understand, and here's some ideas for what you could do, and that they have the capital and the professional design and construction expertise or ability to get that talent so that they can successfully provide the type of development project that would benefit the neighborhood and the college. We would have, so that we would send out this kind of prospectus document to a broad audience. We would send it out to trade organizations. You know, we would put it out across regional groups as far as we can so that we would get the maximum response. There would be a selection process to see, well, which ones of this group do we think are the most qualified developers, and then there would be a second phase where we would get the very specific proposals for exactly what kind of development would you put in there, how would you pay for it, what's the timing, and all the kind of more detailed things. So the idea would be we're going to get this pool of qualified developers and then have only those top firms provide proposals that the board can then consider and decide this is what we like, what we don't like, is that the direction for sure or not that the board wants to go. So just one aspect of that is sending out a request for qualifications does not commit the college to do any specific project or even any project at all, but it's a signal to the market. We have this opportunity. We'd like to do something productive with this property. Essentially, show us what you can do and how well qualified you are to do it, and then the board can, we can get to more detail and come up with a specific project. Some just rough idea of timing. I've been working with our director of procurement. We think we could finalize the documentation and have something issued probably in about the next 30 days if the board says you have the green light to go ahead and do that. We would have probably a 30 to 60 day window for qualified developers to submit documentation. I mean, on the one hand, we know we'd like to get an answer, but we need to leave enough time for someone to really study the prospectus, probably do their own research about what's going on in the area and decide they're really interested and want to submit. We would have a selection process, probably 30 to 45 days to pick those qualified pool of developers. We would share that information with the board. Then we would need, hopefully probably about a 60-day process to have them submit proposals and actually pick, okay, this is the proposal that we like and want to go ahead with, assuming that there is one that the board decides is worthy to pursue. There's going to be some negotiation about exactly what it's going to look like and what the documents look like. That's another probably 60 days or so. And then there's the construction. And so just assuming, right, I'm not saying this is a recommendation or anything about what would happen, but let's say that the development project contained a mid-rise building, because in that area you can build multiple stories up to 75 feet. That's a pretty complicated building or buildings to design. So design and construction, you're talking probably 18 to 24 months. This is a pretty aggressive schedule. It's doable, but I just want to sort of level set expectations here. From the time we really get going until the time there's a building, that could easily be 2 to 3 years. Again, it depends on the size of the project, but just to give you a rough idea.
That concludes our presentation. So if you have any questions for us, we are all here at your disposal.
Jeff, can we ask questions before we do the call to audience? Is that all right? Okay, so I have a question. Can someone who's responding to an RFQ, can they, because there are 5 properties, correct? Pima has 5 properties?
So there's 3 identifiable properties, or at least that's the way we're describing it, right? There's the Copper Cactus, the Frontier Inn, and the Tucson Inn, and we would send something that would say, tell us what you're interested in to do something with all or part of it. So it's possible that you could have 2 developers, and one's going to develop 1 acre and one's going to develop the other 2 acres, or any permutation of that.
So we also own those 2 properties to the west of the 3 hotel properties, don't we?
Yes, there are some additional properties.
So technically, I mean, is it feasible to, I mean, if someone is willing to do an amazing thing developing these properties, I mean, would we let them do all of our properties?
So that's a board decision. So if the board were so inclined, we could certainly modify what we're thinking to indicate that there's a broader potential swath of land. Again, the advantage of an RFQ is the college is not committed to doing a particular project. This is a way to really find out if there are again, qualified developers with the expertise and the financial means to pull off the project. So if that's of interest to the board, we could certainly modify the approach to explore that possibility as well.
I think right here is where Teresa's thinking.
That-
There's a big dark lot right there.
Right. And then my next question is, knowing the problems that we've had with construction in the past, I would assume there's going to be legal language that if they make this RFQ and they go forward with it, that there will be language that they have to finish construction, complete construction within a certain amount of time.
So one advantage of this process also is it really shifts all the risk connected with construction to the developer and off of the college, right? They're going to act as the general contractor. They're responsible for that. So yes, it's part of why there's some time in this schedule for negotiation of documents. If the college, if the board wants the college to proceed in this direction, we'll also bring in outside legal counsel and probably some design professional help so that we're getting advice on what needs to go in those agreements and getting help with all that so to make sure we're protecting the interests of the college.
So my question is, in voting for this project, that does not commit us to anything until the entire board decides that this is something that we want to go forward with. But wanting to make sure that what we're looking for is funding, okay? That's because we don't have the money to spend on any of these projects.
So I think the group understood, had a really good understanding of what types of opportunities the board was looking for. And so under this approach, we could have proposals for projects where 100% of the funding is from a private developer. And yes, to your first question, that's a weird way to answer. Yes to your first question, no, we're not required to do a project. The idea with this is it really gives a way to very thoroughly test the private market to see what's possible. That information goes to the board, and then you decide. You could decide that you like, maybe there's more than one project that you like, and more than one project would fit on the property, and you pick that route. Another possibility is you pick one project. Another possibility is you pick none of them. You know what? We're not happy with any of these proposals. Okay, let's start over again and figure out what to do. So it doesn't commit. The authorization we're asking for and what we want to make sure the board is comfortable with is we'd like to pursue that opportunity and see what happens. And then we're going to come back to you with the results of all that so you can look at that, ask whatever questions you have, and then you can make a decision at that point in time that you like one or more of the proposals or you don't. And then that's the board's decision about what happens at that point. So no, zero commitment, way to really test the opportunities for privately funded construction.
I understood it, but I just wanted to make sure that the audience understands it as well, that we're not committed to any of this. It all depends on what we're being offered and what we're going to have to look at. And I want to take this time myself to thank all of you that have helped in working on this project. I know the amount of time that it has taken you, and I admire your commitment. And on behalf of the board, please, we really appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Okay, if there are no more comments, we'll go to a call to the audience. Okay. First up, Dennis Just.
Hello, board and everyone. I am Dennis Just. I'm an astronomer. I teach astronomy and physics at the college. I am a part of the Drachman group. And but rather than talking about the formal kind of our charge and what we came up with, I wanted to just present my personal opinion about the general narrative related to these properties. And so I can just say that I truly believe that this is most absolutely focused outward towards our community, that really focuses on students, the surrounding neighborhoods, and the businesses. Even though Mike and everyone had done a wonderful job, Mike had shown the parameters that we suggest for the property, and I'm just going to read these out because this is, to show how this is focused towards the community first and foremost. We're talking about a community health clinic, housing to serve the community hub/center, childcare facilities, recreation centers, uses for Pima Community College's downtown campus, a community food hub and accelerator, which is awesome, as well as retail local purveyors of casual and affordable food and beverage, office space, or any combination thereof. That's a lot of verbatim coming from our parameters that we came up with our RFI. I think that absolutely puts, the community in Pima Community College downtown campus very clearly, literally from the text. And I want to say personally, I don't know if I've ever worked with a group as forward-thinking, considerate, and mindful of our local community as this one. Our representatives from Tucson House and Bronx Park, they truly did an amazing job crystallizing our discussions and brainstorming sessions and bringing them into the core of the proposed uses that we came up with. And as a community member myself, who for 9 years has been walking to downtown campus to my office every day, I feel that they really did a great job of capturing how this could work for our community. And so I just want to say that I think while it might be tempting to think that something like adaptive reuse might be the primary concern of how to preserve these properties, which are pretty awesome with their historical value. I think putting the community's needs first and foremost, while also very clearly stating that the adaptive reuse would be a desirable and very worthy outcome. I think that was the way to go, and I'm very happy with how our group approached that. And so, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dennis. Next up, Ken Scoville.
Good evening, Chair Real, members of the board, and Chancellor. It's always interesting having a different perspective on things than maybe a lot of other people have, so it's always fascinating. I think where to start with this is I'm very supportive of this request for qualifications. In fact, I've over almost 40 years of being involved with preservation and been on a lot of different groups where that was an outcome of this. Typically on those, because they were highly motivated for the preservation, that I would advocate that maybe the developer would get extra points or some qualification if they did the extra effort to say how could we preserve some of these resources that are existing and incorporate into them. That would be one thing. And when the members of the team were talking about the community hub, if you look at those three buildings, and obviously I've looked at them quite a lot over the years, the center building, the Copper Cactus, or earlier the El Rancho, it has the best example of what we call the romanticized West architecture. And I would really see that as a community hub. And to think about, and I was trying to always emphasize this with the group, it doesn't mean that you can't build new buildings there. And so you could build a new building, but try and save as much as possible of the architecture and think about the smaller spaces and how those would be breakout sessions or whatever that you're looking for a smaller space. Like if you wanted to have innovation centers, startup business centers where people in the community or students as they're graduating, how would I start my own business? They could use those smaller venues for the actual office for 6 months. So you could do, that would be just one of many situations. The Tucson Inn, given its history as a diner and all that, that just makes sense as the food hub. That would be a nice connection. And I would think anybody that's in the food business, and you don't want nothing against Popeye's chickens, but I would hope that you'd want something a little bit better than that in there with the food accelerator food venue. Anybody that was doing that, having that sign as your catch-all sign for your establishment, you couldn't put a dollar amount on that sign. So that sign would be a great incentive to anybody looking at it from a development standpoint. And the Frontier property, given its proximity to the Tucson house, if El Rio Health Clinic was going to move in there and build a new building in the center of it, and then having the smaller venues, support staff, and all of that, and some or all of the motel rooms and that's where you would get this kind of mixed use, where obviously it's a new endeavor and new support, but the historic resources would still be there, meaningful. And just to close really quickly, historic places, why do we save these things? You can read about the past, that's one venue. You can see pictures, look at maps and this, but having traveled all across the United States, there's no better way to understand the past than the historic resources that still exist today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. And next, Richard Hernandez.
Thank you. I live in Tucson. I vote and I pay taxes. Interesting enough, I'm listening to you today. There was no one from Ward 5, the South Side, on this committee. If you live in South Tucson or anywhere in South Tucson, you know that I'm known as an educational and community advocate, and I completely disagree with this project. I have visited over 100 homes in the last 9 days in area code 85713, 85746, and 85706. And what is happening on the south side is we pay taxes to Pima College. We are not happy that you keep incrementally moving them up so we can have this kind of a project. I'm old enough, in case anybody's wondering, I'm almost 70, to have been in the Tucson house for a quinceañera, for a wedding. I've been part of Tucson for a very long time. Do you know that 50% of the students are Hispanic, Latino, Chicanos, Latinx? This is who you're impacting when you raise fees, tuition fees, when you continue to raise our taxes. This is not okay with us. Madam Chair, you've excluded us. None of us on the South Side have been part of this, and you directly know that I'm involved in a lot of activities on the South Side. We've had no say, but we are expected to pay. There are many options, but my first option is to tell this group, why don't you purchase this property? Why don't you develop it any way you want to? What I want you to do is give more money for scholarships. What I want this group to realize is that we have a nursing shortage all across this country, Southern Arizona. Give us $100,000 of your money. Let's educate our youth to become nurses, to serve this community. That is more important than any of these events that I've listened to today. What is wrong with you when you don't realize that you've excluded, 50% of the students are Hispanic at Pima College? By their own admission, they say they're Hispanic, not because I say. I do know where I live, we were not invited to participate. I think you're wrong to do this. If you were to go to us and ask us for another increase in taxes, you know we'd say no. So what you do is incrementally you move it up so you don't have to ask us. You keep doing that year after year. Our kids are paying for this. Our students are paying for this so that this group can have whatever it is. I'm not opposed to it. You purchase it. You develop it. Do not use another tax dollar. Do not use our money. Think about our students. See that back there? It doesn't say, our community college doesn't call it, some of this entry group, it says community college. You forgot us. You did not invite us.
Thank you, Richard. Real quick question, Jeff. So the proposal that we have before us is that we are looking for people to actually pay for these buildings and build these buildings, and we will lease our property to them. Is that correct?
Right. So the idea with this approach is that we're not going to use public funds to pay for the construction. It's going to be financed by private developers, the end result of which will be an asset that can benefit Pima either through direct use, or we may be charging them a lease for the use of the ground, and they're going to generate a profit through their commercial activities and actually generate revenue for the college. So that's the idea, given the parameters that the board had set, is not to use public tax dollars for this.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and then Jude Cook.
Hi, thank you for letting me talk. I'm with Cook & Company Sign Makers and Ignite Sign Art Museum. I restored 4 of 5 signs that are on the Pima College campus on Drachman. I like preservation. I'll give you credit. This is a much better plan than we had, 6-8 months ago? I applaud you for doing that. I would encourage you to put a stronger emphasis on adaptive reuse. It has worked all over Tucson. We have Riley Mortuary, Riley Pizza. We have the Pueblo Hotel, a Vita Hair Institute. We have the Hotel McCoy. We have the Monterey Courts, an entertainment district. We have the Ghost Ranch, which is what, affordable or assisted living. There's 4 different blocks on Broadway that they're not tearing down the buildings. We fought for that for almost 3 years, and they're at least maintaining the facades, but they're redeveloping those properties. It's going to turn Broadway around out there. I think that same thing can happen here. I think you have to look at saving the buildings. If you don't, you guys are in the guts of 05 down there. You tear down a big portion of what are historic buildings down there, you just blew it. And a little quote, there's nothing so unique, unusual, or beautiful that it can't be torn down. Save these properties, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. And next, Carlos Lozano.
Thank you, Madam Chair, board members, Chancellor, for giving me the opportunity to speak. And also the members, I wanted to thank the members of the working group. I had prepared remarks, but everybody has pretty much said what I wanted to say. I'm really glad that you have an option in front of you that will do the right thing and it will pay for it, so you don't have to spend money that you don't want to commit. And I urge you to support the RFQ. If you do, and I hope you do, I hope that you will give it long enough to work. I think that submission period is much too short. The buildings have sat empty for years. I think you can take longer to find a developer, and I think you should go nationwide or maybe even globally on this. I mean, everyone in the country loves Tucson. If they find out that this is available, I think that it'll be a great thing, and I think you should really go for the adaptive reuse option that has zero demolition as your goal. I think that heritage and culture are just so important there, and not even to mention the embodied carbon in these buildings. I mean, its demolition is unsustainable. There's just no excuse for it in 2024. In 2024, there's really no excuse for expanding parking. It's already been said how the transit is going to be blanketing Pima more than it is now. Anyway, I've said enough, and I think you guys know what you need to do. Thanks again very much.
Hello, there we go. We have 2 people that signed up online. Kathy Cross, would you like to speak? And then Wayne Bobian. Okay, so Michaela, would you mind me hanging on for and is there any more discussion from the board, or can we call for a vote?
I'd like to make a few comments before the vote. In regard to responding to the emails that I've received over the last several days, upwards of 40, 50, 60, and some of the comments that were made tonight, I'd like everybody to know that when this purchase was originally done, and I think it was in 17, it was a 3-2 vote. And of the 3 people that voted, 1 lost in the next election, 1 decided not to run, and the other one resigned from the board. So there's no one on this dais that voted to buy this property. I also asked staff to do a review of board votes on this issue, and they cannot find any vote of the board that dictated what was going to happen to this property, whether it be reuse, parking lots, or anything else. And I'd like to remind the audience that pursuant to state law, a board member cannot make a decision for the community college. It has to be a majority vote in an open public meeting. And so if somebody has said in the past on this dais that we were going to repurpose the property, or we were going to sell the property, or we were going to refurbish the property. That's not a accurate statement that would stand up against the statute. So what we're looking at tonight is a decision by this board to move forward on a decision that had been made by a previous board, none of which sit at this dais at this time. I'd also like you to know that at last month's meeting, this board voted to raise student tuition and all of our property taxes. And the reason that we did this was to maintain class size to help ensure quality learning for our students. We are trying to retain and recruit exceptional staff to maintain the quality of education that we offer the people of this community. And we're also trying to expand programs to help meet the workforce needs of the community. So we are an educational institution that does not have enough money right at this time to meet the needs of what we want to do without raising taxes and increasing tuition. And there's three major funding sources that we work with: property taxes, tuition increases, and new enrollment. And staff is working real hard at this point in time, and have been since the pandemic, to increase enrollments. And so that's one of our stated objectives. Pima College, since I've been around, and I'm third generation Tucsonan, Ann Rysdale's daughter is my cousin. So we have been around a while. Pima College has been a good neighbor in this community, and we will continue to attempt to be a good neighbor. So with that understanding, my vote on this proposal, with the thanks to the committee, will be a yes.
So is there a motion?
I move to move forward with the RFQ as recommended.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Once again, committee, thank you so much for all your work. Michaela, you're on. And then we'll resume back at the beginning of our agenda to go through the normal bit. Thank you.
My comment's going to seem all out of place, but hopefully it's a good one. So, in the spirit of employee recognition tonight, I thought it would be a good time to thank some of our administrators and our high-level staff for their demonstration of commitment to shared governance. We've managed to accomplish quite a bit this year, and the willingness of these people to seek input and value that feedback has been a huge part of it. So first, I want to start out with a couple people I work with often in the All-Employee Representative Council. Aubrey Conover, thanks for being a genuine person, open to hearing ideas and concerns, and willing to work towards solutions that benefit as many people as possible. We couldn't have accomplished all we have through AERC without Aubrey's willingness to cooperate and his leadership style. I also want to thank Kate Schmidt for her drive for action, tempered by willingness to listen to the people involved. AERC often works with other areas of the college, and Janet Rico Urig has been a great addition to the HR team. She's come to meetings prepared, ready to listen and contribute, and I appreciate her openness to search for solutions. Tina Neal has also jumped in with both feet and been a great partner in several of our AERC projects. I was immediately impressed with her rollout plan for the remote work arrangement procedure, and have appreciated her partnership on several other policy discussions, so thank you both. Andrew Plucker in the Employee Service Center has also been a great partner, helping us clarify definitions and processes and always being responsive to requests to meet. David B. has the unenviable job of being in charge of all of our budget. I want to thank you for your openness to hearing employee group priorities and willingness to take a look at the concerns we bring regarding the salary scales and the language guiding placement and movement within those scales. Thank you for meeting with us and discussing how to best move forward with compensation. I appreciate leaders who reach out for input when creating new structures and are willing to take consideration the feedback of the employee group leaders and the AERC. I found David Parker to be someone who's very willing to do so, and I appreciate the way that he's proactively reached out to the appropriate groups to get input before we reach out to him. Thanks, David. I want to thank Jim Craig for always being open to conversation and as a leader in the All College Council, helping to establish lines of communication between the ACC and the AERC so that we can ensure both groups are well informed. Outside the AERC, it's been wonderful to work with Brian Stewart on initiatives involving culture and how to be inclusive. I appreciate that Brian's always ready to listen to employees, and I was honored to be included in the All Faculty Day panel he hosted on inclusivity. Another administrator that's been really been making efforts to be inclusive during some super difficult projects has been Nina Corson. I've been impressed with the solutions explored for the drop-in properties, and I appreciate her openness to the faculty voices for the faculty leadership model. We had a tight timeline, but there was good work coming from that group. And speaking of difficult decisions, I want to thank Michael Amick and Josie Milliken for their leadership in our online area over the last few months. I've been really impressed with their efforts to make people feel seen and valued in the midst of uncertainty and change. What you do matters, and your leadership style is appreciated. And we talked about the value of shared governance at the board retreat in January, and I look forward to more conversations with the board in May. Thank you for giving me the time to publicly appreciate these people who have made shared governance real in our institution. Thank you.
So I know we were applauding Michaela for her comments. Let's also applaud all of those amazing people that work here at Pima College and make it an amazing place it is. Thank you all. Marcy, thank you for being patient, and I didn't tell you that I was changing the whole schedule around, so thank you.
No problem whatsoever. Thank you, Chairperson Rial, Board of Governors, Interim Chancellor. I need to find how to undo this. Thank you. Thank you. You are my wingman. He spends more time in my office than you care to know because there's always something wrong. From the slideshow, there we go. From the current slide, there we go. All right, thank you. Well, happy Community College Awareness Month. April has that designation, and so it seems appropriate that we are beginning April with a governing board meeting. As you know, I don't like to read my slides, and I always start with what Pima Foundation does. We are the philanthropic partner to the college, supporting the students, faculty, and programs that are important to both making the institution a strong one and supporting the economic vitality of our region. So a few things that have happened recently. We hosted the National Association for Community College Entrepreneurship Fund Shift Summit at PCC's downtown campus last month. Here's some photographs of different speakers. And I wanted to thank a number of people who made that happen. The downtown campus people who run facilities and the classrooms and things were amazing. The Pima Police Department were incredible. They helped make sure we got out of the elevator in advanced manufacturing when we got locked upstairs. We had presenters and attendees. Dolores and Ian and Nina were part of the welcome to the event. Sue Oliver, Lydia Kennedy were both speakers. Greg Taylor, unfortunately, has left. He was on a panel that we did with donors to the foundation, and Vivian Knight from Jim's team was also a participant. And my team from the foundation were an integral part in making that happen. We recently did a tour of the Center of Excellence in Applied Technology. Our board has moved to all virtual meetings, and they want to do live tours that are longer than just 30 minutes. So this was our first foray into that environment, looking at advanced manufacturing, the Science and Technology building, and an automotive facility. So Carmen, you can see her down in the bottom right, leading the tour for about 15 people from across the community. Committee. And we are doing our next one on April 30th at East Campus to look at the cyber and IT, EMT, vet tech, and the other programs that are offered at East Campus. So if you are interested, you're certainly welcome to join us. Some things that we also did that I don't have photographs for. You heard I was on the Drachman Properties Committee, learned a lot, some really great thinking and conversation around that. We are working on a strategic plan for the foundation, and you all will have an opportunity to participate should you so choose. I also sit on the strategic planning committee for the college, and I want to commend Nick Richmond. The last meeting we had, there were 10 students who participated in the different small groups. I think you were one of them, right? And so one of the things that we did was we have certificates that we award to students that they can use for any cost of education. We were just going to do one, but because we had 10 students, that was and they gave really great information to the committee, we gave all of them one of those to help with tuition or to help with any cost of education for summer or fall. We're doing, let's see, I'm not going to read the rest of this, but you can see some of the things we've been doing and then what's coming up. So thanks to Edgar Soto, on Saturday, April 13th, there will be a Pima Community College night at the Roadrunners. And so they have tickets available online, and I think we're going to have those on our website. If they're not already there, we will have a small portion devoted back to the foundation. And they're also auctioning off 2 Roadrunners jerseys that we will get the proceeds from. So that was in our little e-blast that we sent today. Signing day, we're involved with that, and the focus on your future activity. We've helped develop sponsorships for that. I mentioned our tour of East Campus. We're working with Sanskrit. We're working with EGTSS. We just learned today that the fashion show is back on Saturday, May 18th. I was invited to speak at commencement, which we always look forward to. We give an alumni pin to all of the students who walk across the stage. I've talked to you about the Rotary Car Show. And we just began an opportunity to partner with El Tour to do fundraising for the foundation through people who choose to ride or run. And so we'll get more information to you about that. Here is our quick snapshot of our money. As of the end of March, we're at close to 16 million with 19.15 million in endowed funds. We've given out over $460,000 in scholarships, including what we gave out in spring. And we've spent almost $900,000 on program support and anticipate spending quite a bit more before the end of the fiscal year. Our staff has changed a tiny bit. As of last Friday, Lance Jones has chosen to pursue other career interests, and so Diana Cannon has been elevated to our Director of Transformational Philanthropy, and we are also searching for a bookkeeper/administrative assistant. Our Jennifer Vandevort is actually planning to move out of the role she has held with us, and so we are currently searching for that job. Here's how to contact us, and I just wanted to share one other thing. On Monday, which was April Fool's Day, I'm assuming, Phil, it wasn't an April Fool's joke, okay, that we got an update on our legislative action around the license plates. And so Senate Bill 1190 passed the third read in the House on April 1st, 45 yeses, 4 noes, 10 didn't vote, and it was passed with an amendment to move down from 9,000 full-time equivalents to 500 full-time equivalents that would allow the other community colleges in the state to also participate if they so chose. So there was interest from the other institutions, and we wanted to make sure that that would be something that would be open to them. However, there is a $32,000 charge in order to participate in that. And that is something that my board has approved. The foundation would not get the money. It would go to the scholarship office for students who are need-based eligible, and it is something that we would love to be able to support. And so it will return to the Senate for approval soon. I don't know when. I don't have that timeline, but hopefully we'll have good news to share about that in May. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Marcy. Oh, Luis Gonzalez has a question for you.
Well, congratulations on the license plate. I think it's not only an investment of the $32,000, but I think it's going to be self-generating as well too. I think that's what the people need to know. Once they provide and buy the plates, as I said it before, and we'll continue to say, we're the only public community college here in the southern Arizona. I think it's we have a lot of our people that are going to be interested. But it's going to be a self-generating.
I hope so. Thank you.
That's
what we hope. I've had people text me when I've talked about it here and say, I'll buy one, I'll buy one. So hopefully, my understanding is it's the next, once it's approved, getting the actual design approved is harder than the legislative action. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that that doesn't hold true.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay, moving on to section 1.9, summary of current events by board members. Mr. Gonzalez, you want to go first?
Current events. The only current events I have is the last time when we met at the Doubletree Inn. It was a group of us that went. I think the roundtables were excellent. But more important, I was very amazed in reference to the young people that were there from Sunnyside and from the other within TUST. But that's very minimal in reference to what I have to share. I just want to share that in my behalf, in reference to other stuff that's been happening, we just ended our Lenten ceremonies that the majority of our people are real active. In fact, coming back to what was displayed here and shared in reference to investment, just want to share with the public that our tribal ceremonies are very strong and very, we have a lot of faith in it. That's so much faith that we close the casinos. We have 2 casinos that we close, but I think not only the hundreds or thousands, but millions of dollars that we do not receive, it'll come back somehow to the people as well too. I think the belief and the faith of the people of the Pasco Yaqui that are here, that investment to provide to the community, but also to all the employees. I think we have almost 2,000 or maybe more employees that are giving those days off. I think it's great commitment from the tribe, but more important to the community. I think it brings the community together to do their devotions, their commitments, their vows that we have within the communities from the Phoenix area to here, but also the people that are up in the other states in California as well too. I just wanted to share that we honestly believe, even though we lose hundreds and thousands, but more important, millions of dollars, I think it's a worth investment to provide to the community those days off. And I think that's a commitment that once I was sit there with that, the executives as well, not the executive as a board member, but a strong belief that their faith brings us back together. And that's part of the Pascua tribe, which Pascua, if you don't know, it means Easter. We're more or less considered the Easter tribe as well too. But those are just very minimal information I want to share, but I do know that it's important to us and will continue to be important as education is for us as well too. Thank you.
Thank you. Maria Garcia.
Well, again, thanks for the people that supported that worked on the committee for the properties. So this past week, I attended a conference in Boston. It was the AGB conference. And so I just want to share with you some of the things that I came out with. The conferences are a means to train us and to give us ideas from other organizations, other colleges. They share experiences with us. One of the things that they shared was that one of the sessions I attended was avoiding a failed presidency. And what I came out with on that is that you don't want a president that is arrogant. That in itself is probably a detriment to picking a president for a college. And then the two important values that I came out with was that they have to have ethics, strong ethic values, and that is a difficult to determine when interviewing. So, but I'm stating that so that the people on the committee are aware of that. And then the most important thing was cultural understanding of the community, that the president should have that. And then the other one that I attended was it was the changing presidency, that chancellor's terms are a lot shorter, and we have to do a lot of work. And so for me, it's like, this is the first time in selecting a chancellor, and I'm looking forward to the committee's recommendation and the student and faculty in helping us with this endeavor. Because as a college, I love this community and I love this college, and I want what's best for it, as we all do. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Wade McLean.
I'd like to congratulate the college's men's and women's basketball teams for the great season they've had this year and the run that they had in the playoffs, and wish Jim Monaco all the best in his retirement.
Lots has gone on the last month, but it's blank out of my mind right now. So the one thing, I went to the East Campus today to celebrate Mabel Ersch was retiring after 30 years of being the librarian at the East Campus. And it was like going home week, because that's where I taught for 23 years, and it was so nice seeing a lot of the old retirees were there, and a lot of new people that I got to meet. And that's one thing I realized about Pima Community College. It really is a community and a family. And thank you for all of you who make those kind of things happen at your own campuses. I think having that community and that connection makes Pima not just a place to work and teach and do the job, but also to have great friendships and great, it's a great family. So thank you for all of you. Okay, moving on to our administrative reports. Dr. Irene Robles Lopez, is she going to do the Chancellor's update?
Yes, Madam Chair, I am here online.
Oh, perfect, thank you.
Yes, and I'm not sure if our IT folks are able to bring up the slide that I put together with the update.
Yes, we will bring it up. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, I'll go ahead and I'll get started. I know that we have quite a few things or reports to still go through. So good evening, Board Chair Rial, board members of the board, Interim Chancellor Duran Cerda, colleagues and guests. Thank you all for this opportunity to provide an update on the work that we have been doing on Chancellor Goal 3, enhancing a culture of care. So on the slide, I don't see it, but I'm hoping it is up. You will see the different activities that we have been engaged in. If you could please move to the next slide, please. Thank you, thank you. So you will see the activities that we have been engaged in with the college community to really try to foster feedback from our community. And I also want to thank the board members. I do believe some of you attended some of the listening sessions. I did get to see some of you folks in there. So thank you so much for that. So those were held in the month of March. And then just at the beginning of this week on Monday, the college employee satisfaction survey was opened and did go out to the college community. And so it will remain open for the rest of this month. It will close on the 29th. And so we are definitely encouraging employees to fill this out. The interim chancellor has also encouraged us, as we have team meetings, to possibly set aside time within the team meetings to have employees go through it, give them time to make sure that they're able to participate and provide that feedback to us, because that's something, using this tool is something that's very important that will help us gather vital information as we plan and as we move forward. I don't know if any of our board members have any questions. There was additional information as well on the executive summary, but I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. We do not have any questions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up is our Chancellor's Goal update with Dr. David B.
Good evening, Chairperson Real, members of the board, Chancellor Duran, Serta, colleagues, guests. I can be really quick tonight. I provided an executive summary to the board, and as you know, we've talked at length the last few meetings, and I've given updates on the Chancellor's goals. It's going to be a big meeting in May when we get into finalizing the budget, but we're working on the parameters and working with the employee groups on some of the salary recommendation priorities, which you heard from Michaela Hayes a little bit earlier. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you.
All right.
Next report, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Update, Brian Stewart. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson Rao, members of the board. Let's see if I can get this up here. Yep, that's it. All right, Chancellor, colleagues and guests, I'm really excited to be able to give you some updates around diversity, equity, inclusion at the college. You have a not exhaustive summary in your packet, but there's a lot more I could talk about. But I have a few really exciting highlights I really want to focus on for you. One, if you recall, we are integrating the DEI plan into the strategic plan. So in this intermediate area, there are 4 goals that we were looking at. So these are the highlights from those 4 goals that we're doing until it's fully integrated into the new strategic plan system. And the first one is that integrated process. It's moving it over into that area. We have a social justice team that is looking at definitions of social justice, DEI, providing recommendations to the strategic plan group on how we will make sure that that is embedded not just in the next plan, but all the plans after that. So all of that work is being led by Dr. Nick Richmond with me, and that will be coming out, and I believe in the summer we'll be providing that information out to you. Next item is in our campus climate and culture. Excellencia in Education is an amazing opportunity. It's a wonderful group of individuals who are really looking at how Hispanic serving institutions move from a numerical value of what Hispanic serving is to servingness. And so the idea of servingness is really embedding intentionality, data, and impact into what we were doing. And so we have a series of town halls that are coming up in that. I actually have the dates now for you. The information was emailed out, but I'm just going to say them out so people know them. April 4th, tomorrow, we have one 2 to 3 that is virtual. On April 9th, from 5:30 to 6:30, it is virtual. And then on April 11th, for those people who want in person at downtown in the Amethyst Room from 10 to 11:30, we will be hosting an in-person town hall. Those town halls are to gather information about what we may already be doing that is really impactful and some ideas on where we need to be going. And I really want to appreciate Dr. Vanessa Ariano for her leadership in this area around HSI work that we are doing. Another area in HSI that we are focusing on, we have an amazing program. I don't know if you talked to the co-legal program that we have. It is brand new. It's just about a year old, and it is working with immigrants, refugees, our DACA and undocumented students, and it provides legal advice on the areas of how to move through those systems. They asked for an opportunity to present at Haku in Spain, and they received approval. So they are going in June out to Spain to be able to do a presentation on this, faculty, staff, and students. So it's a really exciting opportunity for all of them, and I'm looking forward to see what they bring back to us from that event. Employee development. This was a big area for us, and Tina O'Neill, when she was over in that area, had did some amazing work as well as the Teaching Learning Center on getting a whole bunch of new programming up around cultural competency, some of the things that Maria just mentioned regarding what presidents should be around cultural ideas, but also we've been doing work on pronoun and identity. There's a whole series of sessions on that. In particular, in scholarly work and academic writing, we are trying to move to gender neutral pronouns unless you're actually identifying it. So that information is now up. That's my last update, is now up on our webpage. One of the big institutional moves that we have been doing is trying to bring all of the stuff that we do in the institution around DEI into one focal space. All that stuff still happens, but we're trying to get it all together. We have a brand new webpage. The web team has been amazing at just doing live updates. So anything we do, we can go to them immediately. They do an immediate live update. There's a whole series of information on pronoun use, identity work, the information on holidays, religious practice, anything you can think of, we're putting up there and available to you. So I recommend you go to the diversity page for information on that. Other than that, I'm available for questions.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And then last report for these administrative reports, an HLC update with Michael Parker.
Good evening, everyone. I don't know if it's worth my while. I've got like a single slide here, so I can just tell you what I'm going to say and then be right back up there. So we submitted a draft. This is Criterion 5. We submitted a draft, I think, October 31st. Got very favorable feedback. Got very favorable feedback from the consultant, and I think that's quoted verbatim in something that you have there. We put it out for public comment, got 2 or 3 corrections of fact, we made those, and now the draft is in the very capable hands of our editor, Elliot Mead, who is ensuring that all of the sections of the assurance argument read with a coherent, unified voice. And that's where we're at. We're very confident. We've got good evidence, and that's where things stand. Do you have any questions?
No, but just once thanks again to all of the people working on the drafts. We really appreciate it. It's our number one imperative to be, get that reauthorization. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and then now reports by representatives to the board. Our student report from Rebecca Ursul.
Good evening, Chairperson, Chancellor, board members, faculty and staff. I'm so sorry about my voice. I had some issue with my voice, but I'm going to try my best. So I'm going to present the students' report, and I will be only talking about the highlights. First and foremost, we attended the leadership conference in Atlanta, Georgia. This conference equipped us with skills and knowledge in communication, strategic planning, and we also had a very good time in Atlanta as a group, and we really learned a lot. And most of the things were to deal with our internal structure as Student Senate, and I think we are going to work on that as Student Senate. We also had a successful town hall meeting with all the Pima campus vice president present and other leadership team. We extend our appreciation and to them for attending our town hall meeting. It was a very good session. Student Senate are having a project, and we are working on to meet our $500 donor goal to offer a scholarship drawing to a PCC student who attends the fall 2024 scholarship fair hosted by Financial Aid, and we thank the Pima Foundation for their support. We also participated in tabling events to engage peers and promote our initiatives. Asta Skefa, the downtown senator, has volunteered to join the Risk Management Ethics and Compliance Short-Term Task Force Committee led by David Parker. Thank you so much. That's the end of our report.
Thank you. Moving on to the adjunct faculty report, Sean Mendoza.
Good evening, Chairwoman Ryle, Interim Chancellor Duran Certa, members of the board, and honored guests. Since my last report to the board, the adjunct faculty have not had an opportunity to meet, so my report will be a little bit shorter than usual. Here are a few topics we'll be discussing in our next meeting. This Friday, we're excited to meet with members of the college administration to discuss marketing strategies with the Vice Chancellor of External Relations, Phil Burdick. We'll also receive a quick overview of the College Employee Satisfaction Survey with Director of Institutional Analytics, Dr. Casera. As a group, we will also be discussing the training available to adjunct faculty and how we can expand engagement within our diverse employee group. If you're interested in participating, feel free to join us this Friday at 10 a.m. The link can be found in tonight's packet. Otherwise, I look forward to sharing my key takeaways at the next board meeting. Thank you for your continued support, and this ends my report.
Thank you. Our next report, the staff report from, I see no report written right by her name. Faculty report by Rita Lennon.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
We can, thank you.
Thank you so much. Similar to our adjunct faculty group, we have not yet met. We meet again on Friday, April 5th, so my report to you will also be very brief. My apologies for not being there with you this evening. When we meet on Friday, we plan to talk more about and answer questions about the faculty leadership model. We also will hear from the committee who has been working on AP 3.01.01, which is the faculty qualifications. And as you may recall, we had an opportunity to briefly discuss board members' access to our learning management system, D2L Brightspace. I'm pleased to provide you with an update. On Friday, March 29th, Josie Milliken, the Dean of Distance Education, and Michael Amick, the Vice President of Distance Education, and I met to outline the objectives and logistics surrounding this request. We have identified a good plan going forward and would like to find a time to meet with board members, preferably in person, to guide you through the system and to give you a student's perspective about an online learning experience. So if we can find some time to meet in person, that would be wonderful. And that concludes my report.
Did you want to meet with us individually? Because if we meet all together, we have to announce it as an open public meeting.
I believe that was the plan, was to meet it all together, but if individual works as well.
Okay.
I do believe that all three of us agreed that before the end of semester would be ideal, but should it need to go into the summer, we can also do that.
Okay, we will ask Andrea to look at our schedules and figure out a time when we can all meet. Thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you.
Our next report is our administrative report by Jim Craig.
Chairperson Rial, distinguished board, Chancellor Duran Certa, Pima Community College, family and friends. I have a list of wonderful things going on with outcomes and hosting 2 summits in 1 month and other items I'll let you read. I would like to spend a few minutes, though, tonight talking about an issue that we brought up in All College Council. And that issue has to do with cybersecurity and cybersecurity readiness for the college. Our Chief Information Officer, Isaac Abbs, came to the meeting and described an issue that we have as a college in terms of cybersecurity readiness and training. His team has released a security program called Ningio, which is an email-driven training sent to all employees. It's a very simple training. It takes about 5 minutes for each segment. It's hosted by famous actors and actresses, and so it's kind of fun. And it really covers some of the current topics and problems and ongoing threats and attacks that come across each and every one of us as employees. Cybersecurity awareness and preparedness is only as good as your weakest link. And so one of the issues is that we don't have enough employees completing that training. The percentages aren't high enough to even qualify for some of the requirements we have for our insurance. So we really need to look at that as a college, take some proactive steps to improve those completion rates and make sure that all of our employees are aware of the importance of that kind of training and really embrace it as a culture. Each of the constituents in the committee are taking that back to Staff Council and Faculty Senate and Academic Affairs to really try to reinforce that message and help Isaac and his district IT team to make that completion a lot closer to 100%. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, the one I normally skip over, but I don't mean to, and I see it today, Dr. Dolores Duran-Cerda with her interim chancellor's report.
Thank you, Board Chair. Happy Community College Month. April is a month to celebrate community colleges. And I'd also like to congratulate all of our honorees at the beginning of the board meeting, of our employees and our students who really achieved wonderful things throughout the year. And so I just want to reiterate that congratulations to them. Also, I'd like to congratulate Nina Corson and Jeff Sullivan for leading the Drockman Properties Work Group. That I know was very intense, meticulous, and very collaborative, and you set that tone. And I think we ended up with excellent results and things to really look forward to. So thank you for that. I have done 2 more chats with the interim chancellor, one at Desert Vista campus and one at the East campus. And what I do is I meet with faculty and staff and ask them 3 questions. One is, what is working well at the college? What can we improve upon? And what are some innovative ideas? And the third question is any questions, comments, or concerns. And I've had excellent conversations with faculty and staff about what's going well, what they're proud of, and then creative ideas, what we can do to improve upon things. So what I do is right after those meetings, I meet with the campus vice presidents, and I tell them exactly what was discussed, if it's something related to their particular campus, and if not, if it's something at a different unit that I need to talk to, I will. So I follow up on the feedback that I receive from faculty and staff. As Marcy mentioned, I participated in the National Association for Community Colleges Entrepreneurship. I think it was the first time it was held at Pima College, and people from all over the country came, and it was spectacular. So I'm very grateful, Marcy, for you helping and leading that effort. As Board Member Garcia mentioned, we went to the AGB conference, which stands for Association of Governing Boards Conference. And some statistics or data I wanted to share with you about the critical workforce gaps and how we are a part of the solution of this community colleges, and specifically Pima. So just a few items to share with you. Worldwide, there are 4 million jobs that need to be filled in cybersecurity worldwide. There's 1 million gaps in engineers in the U.S. by 2030, so we need to fill those. There's a need for 450,000 nurses in the United States, and we've been talking about our Center of Excellence in the health professions and how that's going to be helping in Southern Arizona. There's 200,000 teachers with shortages in all 50 states. And then 3 million current overall workforce gaps in the United States. So Pima Community College is ready to take a hold of that and help with the shortages and the critical workforce gaps. Some other pieces that I learned is that I think we've heard this one before, 36 million adults have some college, no degree. Tech skills change every 3 to 5 years. So we as faculty, staff, administrators need to prepare for our students who are expecting that. And then just a question for all of you, the attention span for students. Do you know what the average, how many minutes is it? You can shout it out or have show me your fingers. 5, okay, 2, 3, 13, oh, 20, no, 7 minutes. 7 minutes is the average attention span for students. So we have to keep things going, right? Board members. Yes. That's right. So anyway, just wanted to share some fun facts with you. And then yesterday, I'll end with this. Yesterday had 2 wonderful events at the downtown campus. One was the Climate and Justice Education Week launch, and that was fantastic. We had community members, faculty, staff, and administrators looking at climate change and our action plan for sustainability. And then also we had the superintendent's luncheon also at the downtown campus, where we had superintendents and assistant superintendents. Our board chair and vice chair were in attendance as well, and many of you here. And it was excellent in the sense that we had at the beginning a little mini Futures Conference where we asked questions. It was actually Dr. Nick Richmond who asked questions similar to what I've been asking to faculty and staff, what's going well, what do we need to improve upon, and they were very honest about their insights and what we need to do to improve with our relationships and our partnerships with the high schools and middle schools, K through 12 basically. And then the deans gave overviews of their programs so they would be educated and understand what the centers of excellence offer and what we have to offer at the college. So with that, that ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you. So there are lots of information in the information items. I just want to mention one thing about 3.9, the All-College Council meeting. When I read through those minutes, they were a little concerned that when we had our shared governance retreat that we didn't include a certain group of people, and we tried our best to make sure that all the different areas at the college were participating there. And that's not the only one we're going to have. We're having one at the beginning of next month, and we will continue to do these as the years go on. But Jim Craig was there at our shared governance meeting, and he is a dean. So whoever was concerned about that, we did have at least one dean, but we'll make sure that we're more concerned about having everybody there. Okay. Lastly, moving on to our consent agenda. Do I have a motion to move the consent agenda?
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously, and we are done for tonight. Thank you again for coming and participating in this event.